Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the It's Good Mornings podcast. I am your host, myself, Mary. Welcome back. I have a lot to talk with you about this week. First of all, you're probably noticing, Mary, where's your rainbow wall? That's a great question. We are actually in the garage. Did I get banished from the house from my behavior? Possibly. I'm just kidding. No. We're in the garage because we had a surprise this week that I was not expecting. And I don't think that the surprise will be with us very long. So I wanted to introduce him to everyone. Want you all to say hi, have him have his moment, and then, move right along. So we had things that happened this week, which was a lot of things. Then I want to give you a little update on my brain space because the last main episode we had, I said my brain was not doing great and I was having not a good time. And the emergency podcast that I posted on Friday was recorded pre that. So now you guys are caught up. We are live. We are in action. We're going to talk about things, okay? There's so many things I need to share. First of all, I don't even know where to begin. So we're going to do all that. We're going to update and I'm going to give you a talk about what happened this week. And then we're going to play the Wheel of Misfortune. I'm going to do an extended version for my patrons. If you want to support me, you do not have to because it is supporting me, the person, and not the rescue. If you ever are I really want to support what you do, but I don't know, should I support the rescue or support you? I always support the rescue. The rescue is the most important part of this. And if you're able to support me, awesome. If not, don't worry about it. Support the rescue. If you can't do either, that's also fine too, because what is the world we live in? Anyway, moving right along onto the next thing. Let's start with the coolest thing that happened this week. So for those of you who don't know, we're in hurricane season, and Hurricane Helene ran through here and made its way up to Asheville and just absolutely destroyed parts of Asheville, parts of rural Asheville, and it's just been kind of a nightmare to watch and be next to and feel like you can't really do anything. So what we ended up doing here at Miss Dixie's is I put a call out for donations, both monetary and physical donations of water and cat food and human food and just random medical supplies, saying hey, we can actually get this up to our neighbors if you guys can get it to us. And you guys did get it to us. This is kind of what we were working with. I mean, it was just so much stuff, which was amazing. We ended up renting a moving truck. We had 2 nights last week where everyone, after they got off of work, a bunch of our volunteers came to my house and we unboxed things, organized it, and then put it all in the truck. And then my partner, he ended up taking it up to Asheville and dropped it off at Binksy's Home for Black Cats. And yeah, he did that twice. We did that twice last week, and it was just, oh my God, it was so phenomenal to just be part of. Nothing energizes me more than being able to do stuff like that, because that is here's the thing about me. The thing about me is I like to be helpful. That's how I find purpose in this world. And is that always a good thing? Absolutely not. Is that just a thing sometimes? Sure. So when things like this happen, I like to be useful. And I couldn't physically be there because I am here and also had to be in class. So I was able to do that and with my team, and that was just phenomenal. But it's not your turn yet. And that was amazing. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for all of you, and you guys really stepped up and helped them, and we're thinking of how to do some more next, but also I'm trying to balance not overwhelming myself with some things. And so it's a whole thing, you know what I mean? It's not just me saying hey, let's do this. It's me doing that, coordinating, picking up things, coordinating volunteers, coordinating Bethy to coordinate volunteers. It's a lot. And so we are still accepting donations. They are no longer going to go to Binks. We have a couple other organizations who we will be helping, and we're going to try to get donations too. So yeah, that's what we're doing with that. That was really, really exciting. Is it your turn? Is it your turn? Look at the man. Look at him. Look at him. Okay, so the other day I was upstairs studying, and my partner was... You are stinky boy. I know you got bad poops. My partner was upstairs. Or no, he was not. I was upstairs. My partner was down here unboxing boxes, and he comes upstairs and he was like, hey, there's an orange cat out here. A fluffy orange cat. And I was like, Oh my God. Another one. And yeah, that was this man. And as you can clearly see, this is not a lost feral cat, a feral cat who doesn't have a home. This man clearly came from somewhere. First of all, because he's neutered. And second of all, because he's the sweetest boy in the whole wide world. Look at this man. Hello, I'm like in fear that your nasty butt is getting butt juices on me. Kind of, but not that bad. Not as bad as I was thinking. Anyway. So, everyone meet Anobi. His name is Another Orange Benji. And you're probably thinking, actually, I need to stop saying that because so many of you know the lore. I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of the lore for those of you who don't know the Benji lore. 402 years ago. I don't know what that means. I looked out my window and I saw a gray cat and I was like, oh, gray cat, where did you come from? So I fed him. I got the goods, bud. Oh my God. Okay. Obviously. And then shortly after that, another one showed up. And it was a tabby cat.
Not Benji. How was your day, bud? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
And so I started talking with everyone in the neighborhood and I was like, where did these cats come from? And we all kind of had the agreement that we think that they were just dumped. Because they're both like, Benji is the gray cat. Wow, Mary, you're awful at storytelling. Thank you so much. I perfected it with my ADHD. The gray cat who we initially saw, this guy, I named him Benji. And he was around for a while. He's still around. He just prefers not to be at this house. I think he gets fed better elsewhere. And then next, a brown tabby showed up, and so I called him Not Benji. There's also Fluffy Benji, who has never made their way over here, but I have seen them quite a bit. There's Cowbie, who I've seen like twice. And then the main one that I'm going to tell you about is Orange Benji, which is this guy. And some of you may have been around for that whole story. He was a feral cat, and like actually feral, showed up. I was trying to catch Not Benji one night, and he went into my trap, but I checked and I was like, oh my God, an orange one. And so I got him neutered, released him the next day, and I thought he wouldn't come back, but then he kept coming back. So I kept feeding him. That's my rule. Like, you can eat from my porch. Like, I'm happy to feed whomsoever. I'm friends with the raccoons. Like, I'm cool with the possums. Like, I'll feed whoever. I won't neuter those ones because, like, logistically that's a nightmare. But with cats, like, if you eat where I'm at, I will fix you. So I got him fixed, released him, and I figured, like, wouldn't see him again. But alas, he kept coming back. And so slowly over the course of like 2 or 3 months, like, I gained his trust. He let me pet him. He loved treats. He just started becoming domesticated. And then finally one day I grabbed him in a carrier and threw him in my bathroom. And I was like, welcome to the domesticated life. I have abruptly and aggressively thrown you into this indoor lifestyle. Good luck. But he did great. He did really wonderful. And his name was Obi, or Orange Benji. And he was a lovely, lovely man. And he got adopted, I think it's been like a year and a half. Like a year and a half ago, he got adopted. And him has been living his best life since. If you want to watch that story, I think I can link it here if you're on the YouTube version, which I promise to get this on a podcast. I promise to get this on a podcast platform soon. But if you want to watch the story of Obi, it is here. Okay, so then we also oddly at one point had not orange, like I think it was Fluffy Orange Benji or Not Orange Benji or something like that. But another orange fluffy cat showed up that looked to be like the same age, and he also wasn't neutered, so we got him neutered. I released him, and I've not seen him since. And that is all we've seen since that 402 years ago until this guy. So I was upstairs studying. My partner comes up and he's like, yo, there's an orange cat down here. And I was like, it's happening again. Just kidding. I was like, oh, hello. Okay, study break. And I went downstairs and I checked him out, and he was so sweet. You could tell he is not an outside boy. Like, he definitely has been inside. He was skinny. He has awful poops. Awful poops. And covered in fleas, dehydrated, etc. So fed him. He ate and ate and ate. I gave him water and he drank, and I thought, okay, he's just like another not Benji. He's just gonna like chill. He'll hang around here for a while and we'll get him inside and we can get him inside. But then he like was drinking from the water bowl and just like fell asleep in it. And I was like, oh bro, you are not an outside cat. you do not know how to rough it in outside. Don't even know ABCs. You cannot live outside. So I grabbed him and I brought him inside. He will be going to a different foster this week when they get back from their work trip or whatever they're doing. So he's here for right now, which is why I wanted to do the podcast in the garage so you guys can meet him. Come here. And because I have to keep with the theme, his name is Another Orange Benji or Anobi. Some of my patrons suggested Fluffy Benji, like Flooby, but I had already named him Anobi and kind of stuck. Now, I do have some theories about this because if we look at these two boys, Obi and Anobi, look very similar. And I kind of think they're almost the same age. Like, here's the theory I'm putting forth if you are ready. I imagine Obi, Anobi, and Fluffy Orange Benji, were all brothers. They all came from the same litter because they were like the same size, same age. And they just happened to find their way here. And so I got the feral one neutered, the semi-feral one neutered, and then this one, I think just got lucky when he was little, probably got picked up and has been inside or has been an inside boy somewhere. Clearly, he's very much not an outside boy. He keeps like, every time I let him out of here, he like runs to the door and he's like, are we going inside? I'm like, no, buddy, we are in quarantine. And I think what happened is he got picked up and he's like been living his inside life. My guess is there are some rentals near us, and I think what happens is they move out and they leave them. And that's how he made his way over here. Regardless, I have checked every lost thing in the area, every like paw boost, every lost and found, and I have seen nothing. Not a thing. And the thing is, like, I'm hesitant to put out that we have found him, and here's why. And you might think I'm crazy for this because you're like, Mary, come on. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to put him up and I'm going to get like 37 applications in a matter of 5 minutes because he looks like a Maine Coon. He's long hair, he's very big, and he's orange. People love these things. But what I'm not going to probably find is his owner. He is neutered, but he was not microchipped. And it's just going to be a whole shenanigan. In my mind, like, if you lose a cat, we probably should be posting it somewhere. And this might be a crazy take. We will probably post that we have found him here shortly just to see what we see. The good news is one of my classmates saw him and said, does that one need a home? And I said, well, yes, he does. And so she is going to foster to adopt him once he's through quarantine. So a lovely story for Obi, Anobi, another one. You can come here. Just a good boy. Just a good boy. That's a good boy. So yeah, I mean, he even like, this was him at the vet. He was chilling on everyone's lap. Both of the vets that were working that day like carried him around and were loving on him. You're just a lucky man. You just found the correct house. Now Benji was like, yo man, let me show you the best house on the block. Isn't that right? Like, look how big he is. He's so big. You're so big and handsome and just a good boy. Just the biggest boy. He's just the bestest man and the biggest boy in the whole wide world. All right, so this Anobi. Okay, moving right along. Next thing on the agenda this week, ringworm scare, which is exactly what I needed. So I came home on Wednesday night and I went into the room where I've got Mama Zuzu, her babies, and Mayhem and Missy. And I walk in and I look at little Monarch and she has this little like spot on her ear, like right in the middle of her ear. And I was like, girl, what is that? Because, you know, these guys had ringworm before. They've not had it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, they've been cleared of ringworm for so long at this point. I wasn't even thinking of it. So I saw it and I was like, now, mind you, this is mid-mental breakdown, okay? Like, I am legitimately having a full-on mental breakdown, a mental health crisis. Like, I am not doing good. And I go in to feed these guys and I'm like, great. Ringworm. Can't wait. So I sent off a test. I sent off a test. Then we should hear back by Tuesday. I'm starting to think it's not ringworm. It kind of looks like she got like an insect bite and like she's losing the hair around it. I thought she had some hair loss around her eye too, but it kind of looks like she just got scratched because now her eye is bothering her. I'm so hoping that that is the case, because otherwise I'm gonna scream and you're gonna hear about it. Because one thing my therapist and I talked a lot about this week is making sure that I am reducing every feasible load I possibly can while still doing everything I need to do. And one of them is really reducing the number of fosters in my home to just like one group. Like Piccolo and Astro would be like the perfect foster group. They're integrated with my crew. When I get home, I can hang out with them because they're out and about. The other ones, like I have to go into a room away from everyone and hang out with them. So when you see a call for adoptions very shortly, just know it's for my brain. And so then I walk in and I see ringworm and I was like, no, please, no. But hopefully it's not. And hopefully we can just live, laugh, look to the future and pretend it didn't happen. And that would be grand. Okay, there's that. Now, since I discussed my mental health, let's talk about it. Because last time I was very depresso espresso. And, it's not something that goes away, but it is something that I can improve upon. So one thing I've learned about myself in my autistic ADHD running a rescue, going to vet school journey is me and overstimulation, we go like this. Like my ADHD seeks out like the craziness, right? Like my ADHD loves the stimulation. Like we love social interactions. We love like all that stuff. But my autism is like, bro, chill. For the love of all things good and Anobi. Yeah. Chill. And so what I learned is I just get incredibly overstimulated with everything going on. And I get overstimulated to the point where like in my last course, I was experiencing memory loss. Like I literally couldn't remember things that happened yesterday or the day before or last week. And I didn't know what we were learning. People would say like, oh yeah, we learned about that last week. And I'd be like, no, we did not. And then I'd look and like, for sure we did. And thankfully that's a lot better now because of the things I'm going to tell you I'm doing. But it was not good there for a little bit. And then of course me getting into a little bit of an online beef did not help because that's very overstimulating. But I'm doing a lot better, and here's why. I have radically removed everything that is any type of overstimulation. I am isolating myself in every instance I possibly can. So at lunch, normally I'd like go with my friends and we'd like go have a hootin' and a hollerin' lunch, but then I would be distracted. And so I have had to like isolate myself at lunch so I can study a little bit better and be prepared for afternoon lectures. I've silenced every single group chat that I'm in. Sorry if you're in my group chats and I have silenced you, so that I get to decide when I check on things. I wear my watch just because it's a habit at this point. I feel naked without it, but I haven't charged it in like a week because I also was realizing like that stimulation, just having like, oh, hey, you got a text message, an email, this, that. The only thing that I do miss is like charging this so I can find my phone, because I'm queen of putting my phone down in the dumbest places in the entire world and not knowing where to find it. But the good news is if I do that and I really can't find my phone, I can just charge this and then I should be able to find it. Because usually I like set it down somewhere here in the garage and then it's a problem. Okay. Anyway, moving right along. I'm also making sure that I'm sleeping enough, which sounds, just the most basic of basic, but I was getting like maybe 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night, which is not good. I need 8 or 9. So I've been getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, drinking my water. And then like the one thing I'm sure if you're anything like me, you probably can relate to the food struggles that come with what we have, which, part of it is sensory, part of it is taste, part of it is literally just the effort it takes. That sounded like the beginning of a poem. Part of it's sensory, part of it's taste. Part of it's the effort it takes to eat the food, to get the nutrition, to be a better girl, and slay the competition. Wow, That was pretty good. Anyway, I've basically boiled my food down to the most basic components of basics, like potato, vegan meat, cheese, and some fruits, a whole food multivitamin, rice, and tofu. Like literally, like you would look at my diet and think this is the most bland thing I've ever seen in my life, and it is. And I'm thriving as much as I can on that diet. Because the other thing that happened this summer that I don't know that I really talked about is, and it's really not that important at all because this episode is apparently all about me. I was diagnosed with celiac disease, and so my tummy does not process the wheat so well. So, yeah, that adds complexity into everything I do. And the other thing I learned that I've always kind of known, but I've also hated, is the only time my brain is actually like productive and can learn and function well is between the hours of 6 a.m., like 2 to 3 p.m. Like that's my window of opportunity. If I try to sit down after 3 p.m. to study, absolutely not. I literally, I can just feel my brain, the brain cells, just like doing this. I can like literally feel this. Choo, choo. Like nothing is making sense in any capacity, right? So I've been going to bed earlier. I've been waking up earlier, going to school a lot earlier, like getting to school at like 6 a.m. so I can study between 6 and 8 before lecture starts. And then when lecture's done at like 2 or 3 o'clock, I could just yeet out of there because I ain't learning something in the afternoon. That's not how my brain works. And it's been a lot better. You know, I think it's hard because like in the short term, I want to do things that are like I want to be involved in everything, right? Like I want to do everything. It's what I love. It's what I do this for. But then in the short term, it does hurt me. But I have long-term goals, right? I have to do a better job of prioritizing things because I don't just want Miss Dixie's to be around for like a few more weeks. Like I'm planning for this to be my whole career. Like this has to be everything. And so I have to pace it properly. And I'm just trying to do that. So hopefully I can live, laugh, let it go, and just do the basics of everything that I need to do to function. And a lot of that is because I have a very wonderful partner who has picked up a lot of slack of the things that I simply cannot do right now. And he is wonderful and has been helping so much. Yep. Yes, Anobi says. And then I showed up because I was like, I heard you needed some extra things to do because you're trying to do less. And thank you so much, sir. You're just a wonderful man. Yes, you are. Okay, and with that, I feel like that's all the things. Was there anything else that happened this week? Nah, I don't think so. I will also say, and I probably should have started this at the beginning, if you notice that the editing is not great, it's because I'm editing this one. Kay needs a little bit of a break this week. Work is very difficult, and so I'm taking over for the week. So that's what that is. Okay, anyway, moving right along to the Wheel of Misfortune. I've replaced some things that we lost last week, so we're gonna spin it and just see what it does, Yes, okay, ready, set, go. Oh, okay. It landed on Dixie origin story. That's like my favorite story because one thing that I love to see in the comments, and because it makes me giggle every time, is people are like, oh, do you like dogs? What about dogs? Have you ever thought of a dog? What about a dog? I'm like, girly pop, if only you knew. So here's the thing. I've done videos on Dixie a lot. I don't know if I will remember to link them, but if I do, they'll be here. If not, you can just find them on my channel. I've done videos on the origin of Miss Dixie's quite a lot, but I'm happy to break it down again because it's a story I love to tell. So the year was 2024, and I moved down to South Carolina.
So the year was 2024. 2024.
From Colorado, and I came down with my partner and my dog. That's right. It's a dog. She when I tell you Dixie, this is Dixie. When that Dixie was like the best dog in the world. Listen, for those of you who have dogs right now, they will never amount to Dixie. I'm sure they're beautiful and wonderful. Dixie was kind of the best dog in the world. She was basically like a third person. She was so smart and intuitive. She was a border collie, so like, of course. She and I used to run and we go on walks, we go on adventures. Like she was my girl. Okay, she was my girl. And when I was getting close to graduating grad school, she started fostering kittens with me and she loved them. She loved kittens. She loved them in the way, not like as a mothering, but like it gave her a job. She was like, I'm herding them, not hurting, not Hurting, Herding, herding. Hey, we don't bite in this household. No. Herding. She liked to herd them and she was never successful, but she loved it anyway. So that was always fun for her. And so when I started the rescue, after I graduated and I was starting the rescue, I didn't know what to name it. So I just decided to name it Miss Dixie's. And that's the Dixie origin story. I mean, it's pretty basic. There's a lot more details I can go into, but yeah, she was with me for I think about a year into this journey online. And we ended up putting her down in December of 2021. Now that I'm learning more about stuff, I think she had a brain tumor and we either missed it or we didn't diagnose it properly. I don't know. What I'm seeing now looking back is like, oh, those were clear. Like she had some type of tumor in her brain. And this was like the last video I took of her, my sweet baby girl. We let her go but her legacy will live on forever. Forever Dixie legacy. So yeah, that is Dixie origin story. Remember the game of the Wheel of Misfortune. When I do one, we need a new one. Wow, I'm on a roll today. When I do one, we need a new one. Please put your comment suggestion of what you'd love to hear in the comments down below. I think we have time for one more. I'm going to try to keep it brief. And then I'm going to record an extended version for my patrons. But just know that we've done that one. And spin. Okay, funniest rescue stories. I have a lot, but of course the one that comes to mind the most is for sure Cowboy Bebop. And that day was a whole thing. I was sick. But we had gotten a call about a couple kittens whose insides were on their outsides, and they were like born just a few days ago. And if you don't know much about animal medicine, your insides on your outsides actually does constitute an emergency. like there's not much that you can just like DIY at home for that, which you really shouldn't be doing DIY medical stuff ever unless you're properly trained. People. Bombastic side eye. And so I, sick as a dog, got in my car, got out there, saw them, grabbed them, and then saw two other kittens. And I was like, well, I'm here. Let me just grab them. But they were feral, of course. Now, logical, sane, autistic Mary said, okay, let's put a cap on it. Let's get these kittens to the vet. Let's get a trap and let's come back. ADHD Mary said, that's so inefficient. I'm going to have to come back again. We're here. We're queer. Let's get it. And so for about 10 minutes, I chased Cowboy and Bebop around this poor person's house, like over and over and over, and was jumping over things and going through things. And then finally like cornered Cowboy and grabbed him and like walked up to the car holding him, put him in. He looks like this mangy, like raggedy little dog because he was so wet because it was like raining. Oh God, it was so many things. And that was so funny to me, not just because like at the time it was not funny, but after looking back, I was like, man, girl, you really did the most for nothing. You did the most where you literally just could have gone home to get these guys. And that was really funny to me. But yeah, then I took them home, and the little kittens whose insides were on the outside, there's not much that you can do for that, especially when they had been that way for like a day or so. So we elected for humane euthanasia for those little ones. And then Cowboy Bebop ended up in my bathroom. And then I got him to a foster, and then the foster sent me a picture and said, is this ringworm? And I was like, it's ringworm. And she said, I don't feel comfortable doing ringworm. And I said, word, no worries. And I brought them back here and then treated them for ringworm, and then they got adopted. So yeah, that was one of my funniest rescue stories. The thing about these things is, like, I'll probably remember another funny story in like 30 minutes, but for right now, that's the one you get. That's the one you get. So yeah, I will record the extended version for my patrons. Hello, patrons. And then that will be it for this week. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all your support as per usual. Thank you for your support on this new format. I cannot tell you how much it makes my brain happy to be able to do it this way, because it just doesn't require a lot of like pre-prep. Like, everything's set up. I just got to sit down and do it. And that is what I need right now in order to continue to share what we're doing with you guys, but then also, live. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. See you on the next one. Goodbye.